Thank you.
But where we would really make whole is that we have that advertise a little bit. And then Sunday night after 6:30, go back to the apartment when everybody's home.
Good morning. Quick reminder, there is 100 days of content. I felt like I was amplified when I wasn't. Check one. Check 1, 2, 3. One of them was going out. Check one, check one, check 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's decided to work right now. We'll see if it stinks. Quick reminder, there is 100 days of content available to you on the Home Hub. So if you have create a social media presence on your, we lost you again. Create a social media presence on your to-do list for a while. And one of the roadblocks for you is, I just don't know what to post. That problem is solved. Log on to Home Hub. You can just R&D, rip off and duplicate this content exactly. You also can, for a very reasonable cost, have Home Hub personalize these for you. But at very least, I would say use the free information that's there. If you don't have your social media dialed in, this is a great place to start. Please know that there are people in your life that if you have not been posting on social media recently, have no idea what's going on with you. And it's easy for them to forget that you are a real estate agent, or not to know in the first place, or to forget that you exist. We all have a certain level of object permanence. And so if you are visible where they are scrolling, you are more likely to be top of mind when they have real estate needs come up, or when they hear of people who have real estate needs come up. Of course you can see my mic right there. I'm just going mic once.
Just for a second, but you're still recording.
So congratulations to all of those who have listings in this last week. Lindsay Kraft has a listing at 1.4 million. We always platform over a million. And Dana Conway has one at 1.1 million. Jumping back to Lindsay's listing, I know that she did an open house this last weekend and had 25 unique and individual groups come through the open house. 25.
It's the most I've had in 21 years in doing open houses, so I was pretty pleased.
So when we say now is the time to be doing open houses, when we say make this a lead generation priority, that is the reason. We are seeing high traffic. I know Isaiah took the last hour of Lindsay's open house and pulled.
I pulled 13.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I had 4 that said that they were actively not with an agent, took my card and I took their info.
So if you are not holding open houses and you too would like to have 3 leads that are actively looking at 1 million plus and actively do not have an agent, connect with our agents, find someone you can hold an open house for. This is just such a huge opportunity right now, and we have this little window to take advantage of it. So the time is now. Congratulations, thank you. Congratulations also to, to Darren Bell, Ruben Gomez, Danielle Leonardo, Cameron Burnside, Stephen Hansen, who is new with us, and Shantae Johnson, all for taking listings in this last week. Give them a round of applause while I wait for my mic. All right. Coming soon, who has listings coming up soon that they're excited to share about? Isaiah had his back to you, and he said there had better be hands up when I turn around.
He scared me, so I raised my hand. I have one in Saratoga Springs that should be listed this week. And I wish I had more details for you. I believe it's around 3,500 square feet. We're gonna list it about 610, and we're going to offer 10,000 in closing costs because it's surrounded by a lot of new builds. So so we're trying to compete with the same rhetoric that the builders are doing to get business, so.
And if you heard that strategy and thought, wow, that sounds really smart, and like, I would like to learn more about this strategy, good news, Joel Frost will be sharing more about how to do that at team meeting next week on the 1st. So mark your calendars, learn how to compete with builders, because it is certainly a segment of the market that we need to be prepared to address when we have listings. All right, other new coming soon listings. Tony.
I have an amazing mobile home in Murray in the Cottonwood Coves division. $85,000 will be the list price. It is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and everyone says this is the best part of the park because it overlooks the HOA park, so you have, frankly, an empty lawn space going to the river. And again, 85,000 won't last.
Love it. All right, any other coming soons? Going once, going twice. All right, 3 times. Turn to your neighbor, whoever's sitting closest to you. And if you have to have 3 people together, that's all right. I can see you, you know that, right? So I know if you have not yet turned to your neighbor. Okay. So everyone is going to turn to their neighbor. We are going to take the next 3 minutes to talk about listing strategy. So I want you to share with your neighbor what is one thing you are going to do this week that will help you take a listing in the next 30 days. And if you are not at the place that you are focused on taking listings, I'm okay with what's one strategy for you to be holding an open house so that you can be taking advantage of that market and getting those leads. But I want everybody in the room to have a strategy that they have committed to their neighbor. So, ready, set, go. Okay, wrap up your last thought with that. something that they think is a great idea to either take a listing or hold an open house, or he wants to be brave and bold and commit to something publicly with everybody that they're going to be taking on this week, fortune favors the bold.
I mean, Sean and I are kind of both doing the same thing. We made a commitment, or I don't know how much of a commitment he made, but she's got the tracker. We both have a tracker, it's called a daily habits tracker, and it tracks your time, and then there's certain ways that you make points. A basic 1 point would be a call, a text, voicemail, email is 1. So when I didn't feel my production was where I wanted it to be, I committed to something hideous like 60, which for most people is nothing, but for me it's, I'm on the floor tired at the end of the day. And I backed it down to 35 because I am getting some traction on what I want. But I think that's probably the biggest thing is what am I doing every day? How many people am I contacting? What does my marketing look like? And what I mean by that is I have someone who helps, well they don't help, they do, send out my emails and postcards. And on my emails, I can see how many of my clients are opening up. So I know if I send out like 400, I'm getting about 250 people are opening those up, and I can see their click rate. So I can actually see if people are engaging. I don't care if they read it or not. Sometimes I don't even read my own. I just open it to see what the subject is. I'm being honest. Like I don't like that stuff. It's not who I am. It's not like what I want to do, but I know it's important. But I know that every other week, 250 of my clients saw my face, saw my name, and know that I'm still in business.
I love that. I love that.
So that's the commitment. Every day, how many people are you actually contacting?
I love that. Yeah, how many people a day are you contacting? And the other thing I heard in that is something that I've heard in a lot of the agent conversations that I've had in the last couple weeks, and that is looking at what have you done historically that works, and how can you do more of it? Because almost every time as I'm having conversations with agents that their business is not tracking right where they want to be this year, it is that they have taken a step back from doing the things that work, or it is that they are just doing the exact same thing that they were last year, and we are not in the same market that we were last year. We are seeing extended days on market. So if you have the same listing inventory today that you did last year on this day, you're gonna be behind in your numbers. We are seeing it take more time for properties to sell. We're seeing more properties leave the market unsold. We are seeing more buyers who become hesitant, and that's okay. You just have to be aware of that. It's, you remember the first step of shift is to get real, get right. So it's get real and get right about where the market is, and then adjust your activity and your behavior to match what needs to happen in this market to reach your goals, not what works last year. Rachel, did you have another thought on that?
Super quick. So with consistency and for my clientele, postcards still work. The year that I took off my postcards, luckily they started back up. I had a client, I kid you not, 29 years ago, I sold him a home. 29 years ago, we didn't have email, we didn't have computers, we didn't have cell phones. So mailing addresses were really important. He called me and I sold his home. So those things work. Staying in front of your clients, it works.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a fundamental for a reason.
I've had the same postcard thing. I'm known for my postcards. Most people say I love your postcards when I see them. Sometimes it's like funny because I don't even look to see what they are. But one of the things I'm doing, and most people know that I've made a commitment to be in the office at 10 every day, which sometimes is pretty rough, but it did kind of get my rest of my life in check. So I had somewhat of a morning routine that I'd plug into every once in a while. It also made that morning routine just now it's happening. But the other thing is I committed to being in here at 10, and then that went for like 2 weeks, and now it's like, okay, now I'm going to add to that habit. And now I'm making 5 phone calls to my SOI. And today, I listened to 2 things today. I felt like it was kind of a coincidence, but talking about how to manage your time, which I've always struggled with. And so today I have the daily tracker thing, and I'm tracking my time. And it said, if you really want to see what you're doing, track how much time you're working, track how much time you're watching TV, track how much time you're looking at your phone, and then add up that time at the end of the week, like how much time you're working on your finances, how much time you're working on your personal time, and then add it up in the week and see, and it will be shocking. And I'm like, about looking at my phone this morning. I actually had to put 20 minutes that I wasted. I called it WTP time. Oh, waste time on phone. So, but that's something that I'm doing also because I've had a very slow year compared to my other years.
Yeah. I love that. And I love that because one, again, it gets you to the place of get real, get right with your habits. And two, it speaks to a lot of times when we're looking at reaching our goals, we look at what we need to do, we look at the actions. Equally important, if not more, is who do we need to be in order to accomplish those goals. And you may need to be a different person than is sitting in your chair right now to reach a goal that you haven't reached yet. And that might be, you need to be someone who holds their time accountable. That might be, you need to be someone who makes commitments and follows through with them. That might be, you need to be someone who is listening to podcasts or doing the other enrichment things that Shauna's doing. So, I love that. All right, thank you for sharing. I'm very excited to hear everyone's coming soon listings next week from all of this activity that you take on this week. Huge, huge, huge thank you to all of our agents that participated in the Client Appreciation event yesterday, to our events committee, especially our event chairs from the ALC, and especially to Lisa Cacabella, who is so patient with all of us and always makes these things just absolutely incredible. So huge thank you. It was a smashing success. It was really fun to see everyone's clients there enjoying the water park. I was a little bit nervous because it was kind of chilly, but everyone was in the water, man. Not everyone. I was not in the water, but the clients were in the water and they were having a great time. Thank you to our sponsors as well. We've got Luminary here, and we've got Real Advantage Title had popsicles for everyone, and it's really just incredible. I am always struck when we have these client appreciation events because I spent so many years putting these on by myself and going through the drudgery of that, the cost, the stress, the exhaustion, that we have the opportunity to just plug into these and get the results is really incredible. And that is due to all of the support of all of you, so thank you. Quick reminder, this is a strike while the iron is hot time. So if you participated in Splash Summit, for anyone who attended, be sure that you reach out, thank them for being there. If you have some photos that were taken, send those over. This is a great time to just get back in front of them and give them the chance to say, oh, hey, I have a referral for you. To anyone who was not able to be there, this is a great chance to say, hey, I really missed you. I hope you're able to make it next time, and to remind them that you had invited them. And then to, even if you didn't participate in Splash Summit, you have an opportunity to make some calls around this event. So some of us have talked about this, but to reach out to anyone in your database that you are not confident that you have full contact information for. And full contact information would be what? Name, address, phone number, like your email? Yep. Name, address, phone number, and email. So for anyone that you are not confident you have a fully accurate name on, to call and say, hey, I just feel terrible. Lindsay, I had our client appreciation event yesterday. We were at Splash Summit. It was a lot of fun. And I realized I don't have your current email address. And so I didn't get you an invitation. And I want you to know, I'm so sorry. It was an oversight on my part. Let me get that information from you so that next time I have one of these events, I can be sure that you get your invitation. So that FOMO of, I had an event, I couldn't invite you because I didn't have your contact info, gives you a great reason for them to give you their contact info. We will always see an uptick in agents' business after these client appreciation events. And strangely enough, it is always the agents who are reaching out to their clients after the events. So if you would like to be one of those agents, please make the phone calls. Tomorrow is our next MREA Playbook series. This is the last week of the month, which means it is the newsletter. The July newsletter template is currently available on the Linktree, so you can access that now and start working with it. Tomorrow, you'll be able to work with Josh and with the rest of the leadership team to get that personalized and ready to send out. And then Friday from 12 to 1:30, Isaiah will be here and also available to help you get that sent out. We are seeing the agents that are using this newsletter are getting some traction and conversations with their database in a way that they haven't previously. The key with this is that you are sending a physical newsletter, that this is not one more email piece, that this is a place that they are seeing you in their inbox. In their, not email inbox, in their mailbox. Mailbox, that's the word, y'all, not inbox, mailbox. So the key is that they're seeing you in their mailbox. That way they see you on their phone, they see you on their computer, they see you in their mailbox, and they say, my goodness, I see Darren everywhere. He is selling a lot of real estate. All right, today, immediately following team meeting, immediately adjacent, 1 to 2 p.m., we have a free CE class. This is being presented by Real Advantage Title at the request of some of our ALC members who saw this information being presented out in the market and said, hey, this is really important for our agents to be aware of. So this is going to be a deep dive of power of attorney in real estate transactions. Power of attorney is something that you will come across in your career if you have not already. It can be a very smooth transaction. It can also cause some friction and some challenges. So learning how to protect your clients and ensure a smooth transaction is critical. This is being presented by Stacey Douglas from Real Advantage Title. As I said, it is free CE. It is 1 to 2. So when we finish up here, grab your lunch, come on back, and let's learn about power of attorney. And then Command Your Database will still be available today. So if you have projects that you're working on with Command and you want to connect with Jess on that, we've got it 12:30 to 1:30, so you could work with her 12:30 to 1 and then cut into the CE class. Or if there's something pressing that you really want to get through today, Jess can work with you on that through the CE class. We'll probably have her in the cafe since CE will be in here. Prep to get paid. So some of you are super confident on how to handle your paperwork, your transactions, and when we get that check at the front desk, you get your email that we've received your check, your file is reviewed, everything has already been approved, it is perfect, and you get your check immediately. So pop quiz, if your file is complete in Command and we receive your check from the title company before 1 p.m., when do we issue the disbursement to you? That same day, yay! And we celebrate. And when we get your check before 1 p.m. and we look and your file has not been approved, we all cry. Every single member of your leadership team sheds 1 tear. And we have several of these that come through a day, so y'all are messing with my eye makeup. So if you do not feel supremely comfortable on how you can make sure that you get paid same day, please hang out with Audrey today. Immediately following team meeting at 12, she will be taking you through how to get paid. And you too can be one of those people that we celebrate when the checks come through because you get paid same day. If you're wanting to do the CE, hang out with Audrey until the CE starts at 1. It's fine, you get to do both. See how simple that is? Everyone nod at me. Yes. You can get paid and be more knowledgeable. Posts to Profit, our next mastermind is on Thursday, 12 to 1. Also on Thursday, 12 to 1, Josh Stern will be here for an Ask Me Anything. So if you have had burning questions for Josh, it can be about the MREA playbook series he's been going through, it can be about leverage, it can be about this market, it can be about the market stats that he shares. Any of those questions that you've had, he will be here on Thursday from 12 to 1 and ready to answer those. And then on Friday, if we have enough demand, this is the caveat. In conversations with agents, we have come across some agents who have not been able to take advantage of the MREA playbook series but want to. And their reasons for not taking advantage have been that the schedule doesn't work for them on Wednesdays, or that it's summertime, they have kids at home, and they are limited in what they can do without kids. And so we decided we will do, if there's enough demand for this, a Camp KW style MREA Playbook Series session. So this will be this Friday from 10 until 12. We will be in this room. We'll close the doors so that there's no disruption to the rest of the office. And you are welcome to bring your kids and come for this this MREA Playbook session for those of you who have missed this. So as long as we have enough people that take advantage of it, this is the plan for this Friday. Please, please, please let Isaiah know right away if you're going to be attending this so that we know if we're holding it. Luminary, come on up.
Thank you. So it's so nice to see you guys. Thanks again. That event was awesome yesterday. We had a lot of fun at our booth. I don't know if you came by and got some candy. And so it was a really good time. So thank you for all your guys' hard work. Wanted to touch on a couple small things. What's happening with rates? What's going on as far as geopolitical stuff, and how does that really affect what's happening in the U.S. across the board, but actually, how does this really affect you guys here in the Utah market? So first thing I wanted to show you is a little bit about where we are on rates right now. I can tell you the bond market usually, rates react to the bond market. The bond market usually likes turmoil. It's a safety place. Money usually flows into the bond market when there's turmoil happening. So the geopolitical stuff happening right now with the war and we're bombing, we're not bombing, we're in, all that stuff is really affecting us and moving things towards us. So that's actually improving interest rates a little bit over the short period. Couple that with there are more discussions with the Fed chairmen and the Fed presidents. They feel like cutting rates in July is more on the table. So there's a lot more of a dovish approach right now to the market. There's a lot more consistency with saying, hey, we feel like there should be a movement in rates like that. And we're actually seeing that in our bond market transactions. So you might have had a client that you may have looked maybe a month ago down here, and rates, the higher you are on this graph, the better rates are. And rates were not as good, maybe they didn't qualify. I would encourage you to have them requalify again. Whether you're working with us or another lender, make sure they go through the process again. You might be somebody in a situation where they can afford another $50,000. Like a substantial move on where they were before. They can suddenly afford a more house. Maybe they weren't exactly where they needed to be. Definitely we need to do that. Okay. Same thing with the 10-year. The 10-year, as the 10-year moves down, this is the thing that you can track on your own. You can kind of see how that movement. In fact, this was this morning, and it's actually even better right now. And that movement is continuing in that direction. So, if you heard President Trump using the F-bomb this morning, that was kind of interesting. So those things will affect us, and it does affect us on our local market. So I wanted to touch on one quick thing. You might have seen this around the notice that came out with Redfin. There's 500,000 more sellers than buyers in the market. It's really become a buyer's market. How many of you guys are feeling like it's a buyer's market out there? I think we're.
It feels like it, but it doesn't by definition.
I think, yes, I think there's like a conversation around that, but actually the data doesn't support it. In fact, if Lindsay had 24 people show up to open house, that's not quite a buyer's market in my mindset, right? That's not quite a buyer's market. I mean, for me at least, I don't know, 24 people showing up to open house, that's way higher than you would think so. So where did this data actually come from? They picked up this data, and I'll show you, this is what they're showing, that there's more sellers than buyers in the market. This is from Redfin's Chen Zhao, and this is their data. But if you compare it to other data, so I'm looking at where Realtor.com is. Realtor.com says there's 1 million listings on the market. Redfin says there's 2 million. This doesn't really correlate to what they are saying, right? The NAR is saying there's 1.5 million. That includes the new inventory. And new inventory with builders is usually things that are not even built yet, right? Builders release inventory that are just lots. They're not even houses that are built. You have to get the contract, go. These are buildings that are going to be ready maybe 8 to 9 months later, right? So the data that you're seeing on Redfin is a little bit skewed. And if you look, in fact, if you go even beyond that, this is a little bit small for you to see, but the Fannie Mae appreciation results, this is average. They look at a bunch of different economists, and the average is saying there's a 3% increase in value that we're expected in 2025. This is average across the United States. But that Redfin manager, he's saying it's a negative 0.1%. If you look at that, he's basically saying, oh no, prices are going to go down. And he's really the only one that is saying that. There was one other gentleman on this chart, and there's a whole other chart. They're kind of skewed away from what the actual data is. So how do we use that for what we're doing in our day-to-day conversations? This is coming up on your social media. This is coming up with your clients. Your clients are hearing this, and they might be coming to you and saying, hey, you know, I know that it's a buyer's market. You should be getting more from me. Why are you not getting more from me? Well, you can use this data, you can reset their expectations and explain to them, you know, Utah doesn't always focus on what's going on nationwide, and even nationwide data is a little bit inaccurate from what you're hearing. So don't believe, it used to be like, don't believe everything you read in the newspaper, but we use newspapers anymore, right? I think in the past. So don't believe everything you see on social media is definitely something to take into consideration, okay? Last thing I want to talk to you guys, this is a really cool product. It's a 1% down conventional loan. 1%, okay? That means you get a 2% grant that you do not need to pay back for your client. Your client can go into a transaction, spend 1%, the lender will match that 2% for them. They do a 3% down conventional loan. It's a very unique product. It's not across the board. There's all these little specific things about it. Crystal, you want to share a little bit about how you do them?
Sure. Yeah, so the biggest thing to watch for with these is the area median income. So there are limits for your income. But as long as they're under the area median income, they'll qualify for this program. They need to have a 620 credit score, which is kind of low, so not anything super high on that one. What else can I tell you? The interest rates tend to be lower than a normal conventional loan, and so is the mortgage insurance. So it's a really awesome product, and this is a good thing for you to start conversation with the clients. Like, hey, if you don't have any down payment, I have a lender. We can get you 2% grant. So think of that as you're talking to your clients. Yes.
Is this a national thing, a state thing, county thing?
It's a lender-specific thing. We have a lender that's offering that. Yeah.
It's nationwide.
It is yeah.
This, but only this bank is doing one bank. Yeah, and in fact, just so you know, if you have a client that's already approved with somebody else and you want to get a second opinion, don't forget you have a free appraisal with us until the end of this month, and then we'll announce next week, we'll announce what our product is for next week. So you have a client that's going to get a free appraisal, plus a grant, plus a lender that's going to guarantee that they're going to close on time. I think it's definitely worth looking into. So come by. We have an office. If you haven't seen Crystal in our office in the back, come by and take a look. She's got cool things. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. All right, so we discussed this last week. Weekly, you have a market update report that is being added to Linktree. So this is a great report for you to pull from, read through, and decide what are the micro-events that you're going to be sharing in your conversations. What are the visuals that you want to bring to your appointments or to post to social media. And it allows you to have up-to-the-minute market expertise without putting in all of the research and work that you have to get that put together. So these slides were created from this week's market report. They were built in Claude AI. I will send out the prompts that were used to put these together. I would love for you to start getting comfortable on how to take the data that you receive and use the AI tools that we have available to us to make them more visual for your high I clients, and more digestible. And so you'll have access to these, and you'll have access to the information on how we got there, so that you can start doing this, not just with the weekly market report that you receive from us, but with the quarterly market update report that we go through from the region, or from different market data that you receive from Luminary, or from the other sources where you pull your information. And then here's another visual from that market report. So Josh Stern put together his market summary, and then we have a national market summary. You'll see that we also show week by week what the change in numbers are. So like with the market at a glance, you can show trends, not just where we are at this exact moment. All right, and then I think we've got IBEX in the back. Hello, do you want to come on up? Thank you to our team meeting sponsor this week, IBEX.
Hello, everyone. How's your morning been?
So great.
Good. So glad. I just wanted to thank you all for having us in today. We always love to come bring you guys lunch. And I wanted to thank you for inviting us to your event yesterday. It was so much fun. We loved being there, and it was my first time at Splash Summit, so it was a good time. A couple things about IBEX I just wanted to go over really quick. So our owners are Adam and Chad, and Adam was a real estate agent for 18 years, and he just found himself frustrated with his clients calling in saying this wasn't covered. They said it was covered, but it's not covered. And what's awesome about IBEX is we have no exclusions. So everything in yellow, we cover 100%. We also got some new brochures, which have our price updates in them. I also brought those, so if you want to look through them, I'll leave some here. If you ever need more, let me know. But I'm your sales rep. I'm always here for you. If you need anything, feel free to give me a call. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for running that. Well said. All right. Clicker. So who has ever heard the saying, your network is your net worth? Who has actually done anything about that to increase their net worth? Okay, so the goal for today is to arm you with the tools so that you can actually take advantage of that adage, and it's an adage because it's true. We have an agent that just joined our market center. You'll meet her in the next couple of weeks. As an individual agent, she closed enough transactions to earn $1 million in GCI last year by herself as an individual agent. And when we went through where did these transactions come from, what put together a business of this scope, it is absolutely the network that she has built outside of real estate in her life. And then when she got into real estate, the one thing that she just did really right was to leverage that network and create more opportunity. And so, so today we're going to go through your network and how we intentionally expand that network, as well as how you leverage the network that you already have in a more effective way. So this is going to be interactive. I need everyone to have paper and a pen. And I know that y'all have your phones, and I know that you have your computers, but I'm the boss right now, so I want paper and a pen because I feel like you learn more when you do it that way. So if you don't have paper and a pen, raise your hand. Isaiah will help hook you up with that. We're going to break your network into 3 categories. And so on your paper, you can just draw 3 columns. And this first column that we're going to talk about is your local, personal, and community connections. So your local, personal, and community connections. So these are going to be clubs and groups that you're a part of. Like Tony does a lot with mountain biking. I know it's some type of biking. A cycling club, and so that would be one of his community connections. If you have kids who attend a school You absolutely have 2 to 3 groups of community connections that you could list that are tied to that school. Shauna volunteers with the Boys and Girls Club, so that would be a community connection. If you worked in an industry before real estate, if you still work in an industry outside of real estate, there are communities and connections that you are a part of through that. So it is hobbies, it is your friends, it is the friends of your family members. It could be church organizations, it could be community organizations. But I'd like everyone to we'll take just like 2 minutes to list what are all of the local, personal, and community connections that you are currently a part of. Whether or not you have used them in your real estate business, whether or not you have leveraged them to generate transactions, whether or not any of them are aware that you're a real estate agent, whether or not you have a really great excuse for me as to why you are not going to reach out to this community as part of your real estate business. I would just like as thorough as possible of a list for everyone. So take 2 minutes and finish that. If it's in school, you should have the PTA on there. Any sports teams that they're a part of. Maybe you work out at your local gym. Maybe you go to Pilates class. Maybe golf. Church groups, spiritual communities. Any neighborhood associations. Lindsay, did you just say yoga?
Yeah.
Yes. Any volunteer groups, any nonprofits. Any groups that maybe they're local, but you talk to them on social media more than in person. Maybe any hobbies, social clubs. And if you have already finished your list, then maybe start thinking about what are some groups you could look at joining. Is there an organization that you've thought about volunteering for? Is there a book club that you've considered joining but haven't quite gotten around to it? What? All right, we are going to pause today's training because we always celebrate the month's birthdays at the beginning of the month, but every once in a while we have agents that have their birthday on the day of team meeting when we are all gathered together. And today we have 2 agents, right? Yep, we have 2 agents who have their birthdays today, Eladio Serrano and Trisha Nyo. So we are all going to sing happy birthday and got props. Ready? And Nick brought cake. He doesn't get cake because he's going to an inspection, so we'll eat Eladio's cake while he's gone. But we are going to take a quick break and sing happy birthday. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Eladio and Trisha. Happy birthday to you. All right, go do your inspection. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Alana.
a significant other. You have a built-in group or community through their work, their friends, their volunteer opportunities. All right, everyone feel like they've got a somewhat exhaustive list? Anyone in doing this exercise think of somebody that they realize they haven't reached out to or tapped into for real estate? Okay, that's very great. So I'd like you to look at the list first off and just identify one group that you are going to focus on being more intentional in your connection with in the next month. And you can circle that, or if there's a group that you have been thinking about participating in that you haven't, this would be a great time to do that and be intentional with that. And what I mean by being intentional is, one, opening your mouth that you're a real estate agent. We overcomplicate the heck out of this. And when I'm having conversations with agents about how to integrate their community groups into their business and how to take the relationship that they have and translate that to a real estate relationship. 9.5 times out of 10, the conversation looks like this. Oh, hey, Darren, what do you do for work? And then Darren tells me what he does for work. And then what does he do? He says, how about you? And I say, oh, I'm in real estate. And y'all, we work in an interesting industry. If somebody says to me, oh, I'm an orthodontist, I have no follow-up questions. Unless I have a child that is ready to get braces at that moment, I really am not interested in hearing about the wonderful world of orthodontics. No matter how much I love Joe, the orthodontist. However, we have how many reality shows about our industry? We have how many people that the minute they are driving around a new neighborhood on vacation, open Zillow and start looking at what properties are worth. We work in an industry that people want to know about. And so really, all you have to do with these communities is let them know you're an agent. And don't do it in a gross way, like, oh, I'm an agent. Who do you know that needs to buy or sell in the next 90 days? Like, you just don't have to. You don't have to. Just say I work in real estate, and then be prepared with what you're going to say when they say, oh, you work in real estate? How's the market? And there is lots of information on what to say with that. You want it to be compelling. You want it to be an interesting conversation. If you don't feel comfortable in how to answer that question in a compelling way, schedule some time with me. We'll do some scripting around that. But you want to answer that in a way that keeps the conversation going and allows the opportunity for you to become their resource. And that's really all you have to do. The second thing I would say with your community group is that because we live in a world of social media, you want to be following everybody that is a part of that group and the group itself on whatever your favorite social media platform is. So Facebook, Instagram, could be LinkedIn. And then you want to be sure that your presence on that platform also shows that you're an agent. So that then you've had a conversation with Joe and with Jill and with Mike about what they do and then the fact that you're an agent. And then when they see you on social media, they say, oh yeah, Darren's an agent. It's not brain surgery. I'm very sorry if you expected to hear something more profound, but really this is what works. It is introducing the fact that you're an agent to people who already are in your sphere and know, like, and trust you, and then having something that helps reinforce that messaging. Additional things you could consider. With your community groups, your real estate business might want to sponsor an event that they're doing. You may want to partner with them to create more exposure with the clientele or the people that are served by a service organization. So there are next level options with this, but really, if all you did was to, for 30 days, be intentional about, I am going to have a conversation with people that are in this group and make sure that they know I'm in real estate, and I am going to make sure that we are connected on social media and that I am posting content that demonstrates that I am active in real estate. If that is all you did for the next 30 days, you would pull transactions out of these community groups that you are not currently. The other thing about community groups is they are a wonderful way to add to your database and to get contact information, because a lot of times these are going to come with some type of roster. Julia Lachey Israelson, who I just love. Julia Lachey, I'm gonna go with that part, so that's where I'm confident on. Okay. Julia Lachey, who I just love, she's a trainer within the Keller Williams organization. She talks about the fact that she, as an introvert, had absolutely zero interest in being the team mom for her child's basketball team. But she did it because she did want that roster. And as the team mom, she got that roster. And every single person on that roster went into her database. So there are opportunities. When I left my JOB that I had as I was getting into real estate, I had a roster of all of the people that I worked with. And that was the start of my database, and my first 3 transactions came from that roster. So, so take advantage of the contact information that you have for people that are part of these community groups. Questions or thoughts on this? Okay, then we're ready to move on to the second column. Second column is out-of-state agents. So what are some ways that you can build relationships with out-of-state agents to build strong referral partnerships?
Mega camp.
Okay, so attending events. And those events would be Mega Camp, which is coming up, family reunion, maybe some outside organizations like Glover University or Tom Ferry. Okay, and when you attend those events, how do you meet agents to be referral partners? Do you get a stack of business cards and stand at the door and throw them at them like you're in Vegas? Yeah. Anyone who's attended an event has seen the agents that do this. And I just ask if you ever remember them when it came time to refer somebody in Toledo, Ohio. Oh yeah, somebody threw a card at me as I was walking by. I'm pretty sure it said Toledo on it. Let me go find it. No. What you are looking to do is to create meaningful relationships. And so whether you are doing this from attending events, whether you are doing this from participating in social media conversations, whether you are doing this from when you travel, and we'll hit on that one in a minute, whether you're doing this from LinkedIn, what you are looking to do is to have a real, authentic, valuable conversation with this agent. It is super easy to figure out, how do I have a real, authentic, valuable conversation with this agent, because what would be real, authentic, and valuable to you? Talk to them about their business. Talk to them about what they're focused on and working on. Share the tools and resources that you have available. My best referral partners have come from mastermind groups that I have developed with agents from all over the world. And they were put together from events, they were put together from social media, travel, maybe as much as LinkedIn. But we found agents that we had commonality with and would put together a group that would get on a Zoom call once a month and share ideas and information back and forth. And the really beautiful thing is that they could be from different brokerages, they could be from all over the world, and everyone shared ideas very freely because there was no actual competition between any of us. The value in finding agents that you get along with and that you like and that you have commonality with as you are going through this strategy is that If they are more like you, your clients will more likely like them. So if we are talking about referring somebody to an out-of-state agent, they're going to vibe with somebody who is more like you, more than they are going to with somebody who you just find looking through a list that seems like a good fit. Also, the clients that they're going to refer are more likely going to resonate with you if they resonate with them, if you're meeting with people who you have commonality with. So find people that you actually like and that you want to talk to. Talk to them about their business. Find ways to connect and support one another. And then the referrals are a beautiful and natural byproduct of that. There are opportunities within Keller Williams to join different communities like the Young Professionals Network or CHISPA or the Black Realtors Network. There's a B in there somewhere. Black Real Estate Network or the Rainbow Network or Luxury or Land or the Sports Entertainment. There are so many different communities and ways to find like-minded agents that you can network with. But the key to this is building those authentic relationships. The value in this strategy is that maybe that agent that you build a great relationship with in Toledo, Ohio, will have a client that's moving to Utah and they will refer you. That is possible. What is more likely is that agent in Toledo, Ohio will be online in one of the realtor communities that they participate in, and they'll see a post that says, hey, looking for a great agent in Salt Lake City, and that agent's gonna go, oh my gosh, they have to work with Trisha. And they're gonna jump on there and be your raving fan. And the real beauty and momentum that you get with this strategy is when you have built a strong network that's around the country, you'll have somebody jump on and say, oh, you've got to work with Trisha, she is amazing. Also, it was her birthday, can you imagine? So they'll jump on and say that, and then another agent in California will say, oh yeah, Trisha is my favorite, all of my Salt Lake City business goes there. And then another agent that's in Denver will say, oh yes, I second that, definitely talk to Trisha, I'm gonna text her right now. So you'll get multiple agents that are your cheerleaders when there are those referral opportunities, and that is where the real money is. That is where you'll see the real traction. But that comes from building those authentic relationships with agents around the world, rather than just spamming people with your card. So in this column, I would love for everyone to write down, what is one strategy that you can take on this month to build a stronger out-of-state agent network? All right, the last column is going to be your business-to-business referrals. And so my question to you in this column is, who is already servicing your ideal client before they buy or sell a home, ideally before, or after they buy or sell a home? So this can be divorce attorneys, estate planners, financial advisors, insurance agents, contractors, handymen, local business owners. If you think about your ideal client, who are they already a client of? And again, the name of this game is going to be those intentional connections. So I'd love everyone to list at least 5 businesses that you can think of that your ideal client is probably already a client of. And bonus points if those businesses that you're focusing on, that ideal client is someone who has to move. So when we're talking about has to move, we are talking change in their financial situation, change in their family situation. Maybe it's a divorce, maybe it's that their family has grown and so they have to move. Could be that all of the kids have moved out of the house. That's a little bit less of a have to move, but it can feel like a have to if you've got too much as far as square footage. Anything that's driving relocation, so a change in where they're going to be living. The undisruptibles are a segment of the market that we should all be thinking through as we look at our lead generation strategies and make sure that at least one of our lead generation strategies is tapping into one of those undisruptible markets. So if we know that that ideal client is already the client of someone else, identify one of those 5 and circle it that you can get intentional about getting a relationship with this month. And that might be inviting them to come to an event that is mutually beneficial for your business and their business. We have a lot of trainings and opportunities here that are not just for real estate and that would be valuable to somebody in another industry, and you can leverage that and invite someone to attend. It could be inviting them to get in front of your clients. So Eladio did a estate planning class. He partnered with an estate planning attorney, and this was something that he was able to offer to his clients as a value add, that they could come and attend this free class. It was also a value add to this attorney that they could get in front of a group of his clients to become their potential clients. And that did turn into referral opportunities from that attorney. It could be asking them out to coffee. It could be sitting down and talking to them and finding out how you can support their business. I always like to lead with that power of reciprocity, where I am looking to see how can I support someone in their business, because a natural byproduct of that is that they want to support me. Everyone have one circled? Okay. So one circled, and then you can just write to the side of it, what's the strategy that you're going to take on this month to intentionally build a relationship with this business? So I would submit to you that every Zillow lead that an agent pays for, every open house guest that an agent prays walks through the door, every person that is met while someone is out door knocking, along with every expired and every for sale by owner, also exists in a real estate agent's network. And the fact that they are not working with that real estate agent just says to me that that agent has not been intentional about the relationship. You have an opportunity here to, at a much lower cost than to generate those leads, cultivate those leads within your own network and your own sphere. And when you are consistently intentional about this, this one lead generation strategy really can replace everything else. It doesn't have to, but it can. And so my challenge to you this month is to actually see it through. You've got your community connections and you've identified where you can dive deeper there. You've got your out-of-state agent strategy. You've got your business-to-business strategy. You've got 30 days in front of you. And if at the end of July you have truly gone deeper with each of those categories, I am confident there's a transaction there for you. That's all I've got. We were going to sing happy birthday to wrap it up, but Eladio blew that one. So have a wonderful day. We've got Audrey Wright as we finish, and then the CE class will start at 1. Lunch is in the back, and thank you for who you are and all that you do.
Leverage that up, make sure that we get stored.
Let's see, the social media.
So all it is we're grabbing it, putting it on our. So I think something else, email blast. And every day, probably every week, something different. We do it, we do it. Right there. Maybe more, and then every next day we do it on Zoom or something. And we actually do it. Every day, actually, because it's 100 days. But more importantly, it would make us do it.
Yeah, it definitely is powerful when you have somebody that
Somebody else do it.